Hello folks, Wolflinger here bringing you another nerdy video. Today I am discussing with Mark the rogue class. I know technically this is supposed to be the next video I was supposed to do was part 3 of the Ranger, but sadly this is the only time I can get Mark on. So we're going to be talking about the rogue, the sneaky little fuckers of D&D. So in the first part, Mark, as I've explained to you, in the first part we're going to be just talking about the rogue as in general, not relating to any specific archetypes.
Yep.
So, Mark, as someone who's been playing, who played multiple variations of D&D, you've played Pathfinder and 3.5, correct?
Yes.
As well. Have you played 4th edition?
Not very much, no.
Okay.
Like the little bit that I did play, I just couldn't get into it. It's way too simplified.
So you jumped so it's safe to say you sort of jumped from 3.5 and Pathfinder to 5th edition. You skipped 4th altogether. So
pretty much.
You have plenty of experience with D&D and the rogue. How much experience of the rogue in particular do you have from all the variations of D&D?
In actual fact, your game is the first time I decided to play rogue.
Oh, but have you seen many rogues though? Like, have you?
I've seen a couple of rogues in the past.
All right. Does it live up to what you'd expect from a rogue? From what you've seen of what your friends playing rogues in early.
In actual fact, it was surprising because a lot of the other rogues that I saw played it a lot more kind of risky than I would have played it. Like now with the experience that I have, because you cannot take damage at all.
Yes, quite true. As we get down to it, like rogues' hit points, your hit die is a D8, like, and you start off with only 8 hit points. Now, don't get me wrong, that is nothing compared to the hit points of a wizard. They start off with 6, and then their hit die is a D6. But still, 1d8 is still fairly low, like, compared to barbarians, blood hunters, and fighters getting D10s and D12s.
Yeah.
Like, they start off in the double digits.
Yeah.
So,
and I think, like, if you're used to playing, like, a wizard or something like that, you do have this tendency to feel like, oh, I have so much, like, I have more hit points than I had as a wizard, so I can dish out damage. I can tank a little bit. No, you can't. That's a lie that you're telling yourself.
Oh yes, quite frankly, especially considering you can't tank in any normal aspect. You can't tank via health or hit points. Sorry, I already said hit points. Or even by AC, because the highest armor you can get as a rogue is light armor.
Yeah.
Like we've seen that there are different ways of tanking. There are 2 prime ways of tanking: either using your hit points or having really high AC. Now, some classes fit into different ways than better. For example, Barbarian, they don't tank via AC. They generally tank via what's it called, having just lots of hit points, and then their ability to take half damage from pretty much everything except for psychic. Whereas then you have the paladins, who are primarily AC tanking.
Yeah.
A druid is also an example of health tanking, with their wild shaping. Oh, look at me, I now have an extra hit bar, and if you drop my bear form to 0 hit points, I still have all my health as a druid.
Yeah.
So,
that sounds about right. Like, if you wanted to make, like, a rogue buffer, I'd say I would actually suggest more think about, like, multi-classing, like monks or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm my character is going, like, straight rogue the full way, so as a result I have to be, like, kind of cowardly in parts.
Yes. But at the same time, though, rogues are sort of frontline. In their own weird sense, if you're going with the dagger rogue, I suppose you are a frontline fighter. Except you need someone else to be in the front lines with you.
Yeah, or at very least you need like cover of some kind,
Yeah.
um, like a hiding spot so that you can get that sneak attack in.
So, uh, for example, I'm going to read what's it called? We're going to skip the sort of general lore for. If you won't mind, as you know, if you have you seen any of my videos on the classes, how there are certain sections of the lore that I read out. Would you mind if we quickly
No,
start with
knock
that?
yourself out. Go
Because
for it.
because afterwards I then do what the book recommends for quick builds and creating your character. I want at that point I want you to chime in and we'll see how much you deviated from what they recommend.
Okay.
So here, folks, here's some references of talking about some of the archetypes of rogues. Signaling for her companions to wait, a halfling creeps forward through the dungeon hall. She presses an ear to the door, then pulls out a set of tools and picks the lock in the blink of an eye. Then she disappears into the shadows as her fire friend moves forward to kick the door open. A human lurks in the shadows of an alley, while his accomplice prepares for her part in the ambush. When their target, a notorious slaver, passes the alleyway, the accomplice cries out. The slaver comes to investigate, and the assassin's blade cuts his throat before he can even make a sound. Suppressing a giggle, a gnome waggles her fingers and magically lifts the key ring from the guard's belt. In a moment, the keys are in her hand, the cell door is open, and she and her companions are free to make their escape. Rogues rely on skill, stealth, and their foes' vulnerabilities to get the upper hand in any situation. They have a knack for finding the solution to just about any problem, demonstrating their resourcefulness and versatility that is cornerstone to any successful adventuring party. So, from those archetypes, do you feel like so far you made the right choice in how you're portraying your rogue?
Uh, Personally, I feel yeah. There's there's a couple of points where I'm like that. Yeah, I did not do that. But
Again,
yeah, like
it's clear that you have more in common with the gnome rogue,
yeah,
who's clearly an arcane trickster.
yeah, yeah. But also, I like that one line where like a rogue can find the solution to any problem. I feel that's super true as well.
Yes, yes.
It will always be unconventional though. Like don't expect it to be like a typical fighter solution.
Oh yes, like getting naked to negotiate with a dragon.
Yes, that may or may not be a solution that you could do. It's a power move.
Oh yes, but in all fairness, though, I imagine many people would say that is more of a bard situation there.
I mean, any dragon negotiation you can walk away from.
Yes. Now, in terms of roles, would you agree with my assessment of the rogue that a rogue has generally can only fulfill one role within the party, and that is DPS?
Actually, no. I would disagree with that. Believe it or not.
Okay.
Now, like, here's the thing. I would suggest that your assessment is good for the primary role of a rogue, but like, for example, an arcane trickster, if he takes a lot of bard spells, could be a buffer. You know?
I don't think an arcane trickster can do that.
No. Like, okay. When I say bard spells, I mean like bard-like spells, like disguise self, that kind of thing.
Yes,
like
but
like illusion magic, but you can. There are certain illusion magic spells, at least I think in Pathfinder anyway, that were very like buff-esque.
yes.
You know.
Well, maybe I could be wrong. As I said, like I have not read out the spell list, but I do know the arcane trickster does use the wizard spell lists. And in terms of the illusion magic, I don't really say I wouldn't say disguise self because again it only applies to your character is a support spell.
Yeah.
For me, support spells are you casting spells that help the party, not yourself. For example, a druid is a support because she can not only she can heal, but she can also buff an allies' defenses. She can speed them up and stuff like
no, I don't have the PDF out with me now, but I know that like rogues, like at least arcane tricksters anyway, they can take one spell that isn't illusion. So there is actually the potential there. Like once again, this is just my interpretation.
Oh yes.
There is like the possibility that you could get like more bardic spells or more like team helpy spells.
But as I said, that revelation will only come once we do the arcane trickster bit, as well as when I eventually get to my segment of my videos where I talk about this actual spell lists.
Okay.
The spell lists are going to be separate than the class videos because there's just so many there's just so many spells.
Yeah,
Wizards alone will take me a good long while to get through, so that's why I decided to do like a separate video talking about the spell lists and then the spells descriptions. So anyway, let's move on. The next section is called Skill and Precision. Rogues devote as much effort to mastering the use of a variety of skills as they do perfecting their combat abilities, give them a broad expertise that few other characters can match. Many rogues focus on stealth and deception, while others refine the skill that help them in dungeon environments such as climbing, finding and disarming traps, and opening locks. When it comes to combat, rogues prioritize cunning over brute strength. A rogue would rather make one precise strike, placing exactly where the attack will hurt to the target most, than wear opponent down with a barrage of attacks. Rogues have an almost supernatural knack for avoiding damage, and a few learn magical tricks to supplement their other abilities. Now, that was clearly talking about multiple archetypes: the thief, the assassin, and the arcane trickster. But it also talks about the fact that rogue, when it comes to skills like acrobatics, sleight of hand, stealth, and like, that rogues do have that unnatural sense of getting those in like double digits really quickly, and that is because the feature is called expertise. Am I correct? From level 1, you can take a skill that you're proficient in and double your proficiency bonus with it. So from level 1, instead of just having a +2 benefit, you're getting a +4. And eventually, when you reach the higher levels, when you get to +6 proficiency bonus, it's a +12 proficiency bonus. And that is not even counting your attribute modifiers, such as, for example, tell me one of your skills.
Well, one of the first things I put my proficiency on was sleight of hand.
Okay, so sleight of hand.
Okay, I haven't used it much in your game, but there are actually loads of places where you can use.
Oh yes, you
skill.
actually used it once. You did to steal the gloves of thievery.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. Like, what's your dexterity modifier is +4, correct?
Yes.
That means from level 1, your character had a +8 to sleight of hand, and eventually, let's say you never upgrade your dex. That and you get the 12 proficiency bonus. That is then a 16. You would have to, for most checks, like the DCs go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. The average being 15 and lower. Your character, unless you roll a natural 1, is never going to fail them. Because you have a +16. If you roll a 4, you can pass DCs of 20, no problem.
And I will warn you right now, I plan on disarming a lot of people by pickpocketing weapons.
Yes, but in all fairness, that's more of a before combat situation.
Yeah.
Now, the next section is talking about how most rogues have shady living. That is not the case for your character. Your character actually comes from a more of a noble background. Noble not in the traditional sense of, you're like Lunara, who is a noblewoman. You're noble as in, like, your character decided to use his skills that he's required for the betterment of others. And you actually avoided getting in trouble with the law. Whereas most, as described here, every town and city has its share of rogues. Most of them live up in the worst stereotypes of the class, making a living as burglars, assassins, cut purses, and con artists. Often these scoundrels are organised into thievery guilds and crime families. Plenty of rogues operate independently, but even they sometimes recruit apprentices to help them in their scams and heists. A few rogues make an honest living as locksmiths, investigators, and exterminators. I like how they include exterminators. That's a fancy name for assassin, like cleaner. In all fairness, like Archer from the show Archer, the comedy animation, hey, branding is everything. But yeah, like it's interesting that like you're one of the few rogues, according to this book, that has decided to not make your living based off crime.
Yeah.
Well, you attempted to make a sort of criminal character when you first thought of playing a rogue.
No, actually, like from the very beginning, I kind of had this image of like my rogue being this like what's the right phrase for it? Like basically, he's like this flamboyant type.
Showman.
Like, yeah, showman. That's the word. He's very much like a showman kind of rogue. Like, if he's going to steal something, he's going to leave like a real like obvious like this was me. I took your shit, and you can't catch me kind of thing.
Yeah. Sort of like the character from Ocean's 12, that thief.
Yeah.
Who leaves kind of
like that.
Who leaves the little fox behind.
Exactly.
So you eventually plan to add like a calling card to your character.
Oh, absolutely.
So does that mean does that mean in future eventually L actually starts during his downtime going on heists, like going around to try and steal shit?
Something like that, but I will go into that a little bit later when we're getting around to like archetypes and that kind of thing.
Okay. I'm looking forward to that now. Okay, let's get down to the creating a rogue and the quick build. Now, folks, the quick build is not for... You don't have to take its advice. It's meant for if you're doing one-shots and you need to make a character within an hour. So we'll do the quick build first because that is the shorter version of creating a rogue. So, Mark, please let me know if you agree with the quick build when I finished. To make a rogue, quickly follow these suggestions. First, dexterity should be your highest ability score. Make intelligence your next highest if you want to excel in investigation or plan to take up the arcane trickster archetype. Choose charisma instead if you plan to emphasize deception, social interaction, and secondly, choose the charlatan background.
I will say I agree with those. However, that is not where I went for with L. Not at all.
Please tell us, in which way, where did you differ from the quick build?
Okay, so first off, intelligence is not my second highest stat.
Whereabouts is it?
I think but I am fairly certain it was either strength or charisma. I think it was charisma.
Charisma is your next highest.
Yeah.
Actually, hold on. I'll jump on. Let's see how well you know L. I'm jumping onto Roll20. I don't know him well. I am jumping onto Roll20. Let's see here.
All I know is that like intelligence is not that high.
Okay.
No, it's not his lowest.
Yes. Actually, your dexterity is actually a 20. Believe it or not. So that means like your sleight of hands, which is you have your expertise in. Oh, that's interesting. Mark, believe it or not, you are actually wrong. You're You're not proficient in sleight of hand. Your your expertise is seemingly in deception and acrobatics. Wait, no. It's only in acrobatics. Oh, I think you have to put it into your thieves' tools. No? This is strange, because as far as I'm aware, your expertise is supposed to be... You get 2 skills. Yeah, 2 skills of your choice.
I put one of them into the lockpicking tools.
Yeah, in thieves' tools, it's you're only labelled as a proficient, not expertise. Oh. So that means your thieves' tools are actually lower than what they're supposed to be. Because like you have one in acrobatics.
Strange.
You have it in
Like this
acrobatics.
shows how well I know my character.
Yeah.
I barely looked at that part.
But yeah, there's no other expertise anywhere on your skills. Stealth is 8, which means that should have been 11 because it shares the same stuff. Your perception is it's not there. It's not in persuasion because you're proficient in that. So yeah, you actually have no expertise anywhere else. You only have 1 in acrobatics, and you're supposed to have 2 by this point.
Okay.
So yeah, right now, if you want, I'm on your sheet right now. If you want, I can put it in somewhere. So
Put in sleight of hand.
okay, all right,
No hesitation.
okay, all right. So once I finish that, we'll continue going back over some of your skills. Now, whereabouts do I go to do this again? Here we go. Skills. Sleight of hand. Okay, that's weird. Strange. It is. Now that I'm looking at your skill section, it actually is labeled. It's actually marked as expertise, but when I actually go into your actual sleight of hand skill, it's not there. Were you proficient? See, there you go. Now I marked it.
Okay.
Yeah. See, the thing is, you didn't have proficiency in sleight of hand.
That makes sense. I'm new to Roll D20, in case anybody's wondering. It's not that I don't know where to put my shit.
Okay, but anyway, your intelligence is actually 14. Your highest stat is dexterity. Next is charisma. Your dump stat was actually wisdom.
Yeah, no, I knew that because I am not a wise character.
Oh yes, I'm sure many people who've watched Lunar Guard will know. All right, so you actually made quite a few changes. Wisdom is a bold choice because normally perception would allow you to spot, like, quick getaways and find treasure.
Yeah.
But okay, now we've already talked about creating a rogue due to the fact of your character and what motivates him. So let's okay, folks. Let's get down to class features. As before mentioned, we mentioned that your hit dice is a D8 per rogue level. Your hit points starting at first level is 8 plus your Constitution modifier, or then when you level up to level 2 and etc., you can either roll a D8 and add your con, or you can take a 5 plus your con. Your proficiencies are light armor, simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords. Funny enough, since L is a wood elf, he actually has a few extra weapon proficiencies. You obviously get proficiency in Thieves' Tools, and your saving throws are dexterity and intelligence. And you get to choose 4 from the following: acrobatics, athletics, deception, insight, intimidation, investigation, perception, performance, persuasion, and sleight of hand, and of course stealth. Wow, it really has a lot of skills to choose from, and you start off with 4. Wow.
Yeah.
So they did, again, it leads into that rogues are quite skillful. Now, your starting equipment can be a rapier and a short sword, or a short bow and a quiver of 20 arrows, or you can take another short sword. You can start off with a burglar's pack, a dungeoneer's pack, or an explorer's pack. And automatically, for playing a rogue, you automatically start off with leather armor, 2 daggers, and Thieves' Tools. Now, Mark, do you remember what options did you pick? Did you take a rapier or a short sword?
I took the arrow and the quivers, I think.
Yes. Did you take the rapier or the short sword?
Short sword.
Okay, and we know, thanks to last night's game, you took the explorer's pack.
Yes.
Alright, and as we said, first feature you get at level 1 is expertise. It allows you to double your proficiency bonus with a skill that you're proficient in, or you can double your Thieves' Tools. You also get one of the cornerstone effects of a rogue, the most OP ability if you're playing with the archetype assassin: sneak attack. Oh, I'm telling you, folks, sneak attack has been a bane in my existence, and it's also allowed me to create really powerful characters. Sneak attack is sort of like a half orc and a barbarian's crit die. Basically, except instead of the die activating when you get a critical hit, this activates once when you make an attack. when against a creature that does not know you're there, or if you make an attack and you have an ally within 5 feet of your target. It starts off at d6 and it will go up to eventually 10d6.
Yeah.
From level 1 to level 1 and 2, it's 1d6. 3 and 4 is 2d6. Okay, I'm just going to quickly read it. Does it go up every 2 levels? Yes, it does. It goes up every 2 levels.
Nice.
So 1 and 2, 1, 3, 4, 2. Yeah. Okay, that's good. It's easier because I hate when I have to do videos and then like there's no pattern to it when you get stuff.
Yeah, it just happens all randomly.
Yeah, and I'm like again, my OCD is like, no, you could have done it like in a pattern. Like, you know, like spell slots are the worst for that. But anyway.
Yeah.
So, again, now here's the great thing about sneak attack, folks. If you score a critical hit and you use sneak attack, when you score a critical hit, the exact words of a critical hit is all damage die gets added to gets doubled, right? Which means you deal a 1d6 extra damage. That means this is a damage die.
Yep.
Sneak attack is ruled as a damage die, which means by level 20, if you score that critical hit, you're not just rolling 10d6 plus your weapon damage. You're rolling 20d6. On average, okay, at worst rolls, that only equals 20 extra damage. And that's with ones.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. The highest outcome damage you can roll in that scenario is 120 damage.
Nice.
Now, chances are you're not going to get it, but the fact that the potential is there. You know, you're not, like, that is ridiculous. You also get the language Thieves Can't, which is an exclusive language to rogues and criminal archetypes.
Mm-hmm.
As well as a background by Matt Mercer called The Clasp, which is Vex's old crime buddies. Once you reach 2nd level, you get Cunning Action. Starting at 2nd level, your Quick Thinking and Agility, Quick Thinking with L, yeah, right, allow you to take a bonus action on each of your turns in combat. This action can be used only to take dash, disengage, and hide. So now you automatically get a bonus action already.
Mm-hmm.
You can take a bonus action on each of your turns in combat. This action can be used only. Okay, so that I think this actually means you get 2 bonus actions. Now that
nice.
The way I'm reading Cunning Escape, because your Cunning Action, right, can only be used. It's a bonus action that can only be used for dash, disengage, or hide. So does that mean and all characters already had a bonus action? Which is what, you know.
Yeah.
So does that?
Well, I assumed like some of them were actions that you had to waste a full action on, so like you wouldn't be able to attack something like that.
Yeah.
Like to hide.
No. Hide is normally an action, but Cunning Action allows you to is a bonus action that allows you to do it. So yeah, I'm just sorry. It's just that the way I'm reading Cunning Action, it's like to me. I might be wrong, folks. I might be wrong. I'll have to sage advice it, but right now it makes me feel like Cunning Action gives you 2 bonus actions instead of just 1.
You don't hear me complaining.
Yeah. I'll have to sage advice that I'm telling you, folks, because that is. I'm afraid now for my NPCs.
Yes.
All right. At level 3, you get your roguish archetype. Now, funny enough, folks, this is the only class that refers to your decision as archetype. All the other classes have fancy names. For example, Arcane Tradition for Wizard, Primal Path for Barbarian, Sacred Oath for Paladin. Rogue, I normally refer to them as archetypes or advanced classes, but Rogue is the only class in the player's handbook that describes them as archetype. Now we'll get into that next in the next part. But the types we're going to be talking about is the Thief, Assassin, Arcane Trickster. I do not have my Xanatar's Guide with me, so I think it's Scout, Gloomstalker, which is an Underdark expertise character, and we are going to talk about the Ghostface Killer. Oh, the Inquisitor. So we have a lot of archetypes, folks, to talk about in the next video. But we're going to put a lot more emphasis on the Ghostface Killer, and then also the Arcane Trickster. So look forward to that, folks. Obviously at level 4, 5, 10, 12, 16, and 19, you get your ASI. For those of you that have not watched my other videos, please watch my other videos, because I don't have... This comes up in every single video. It comes up in... check my Barbarian video. My Barbarian video will explain what an ASI is. It's just that it's very tiring to say something the same time every single class. At level 5, rogues get Uncanny Dodge, which allows them to take... you can take a reaction to half your damage, which is pretty cool. Evade...
Super handy.
Oh yeah. I bet you wish you had this next ability for what's it called when you were dealing with that dragon? Evasion. Begin at 7th level, you can nimbly dodge out of way of certain area effects, such as a red dragon's fiery breath or an ice storm spell. When you are subjugated to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving... Oh, it's dexterity. Too bad.
Yeah.
Saving throw to take only half damage. You instead take no damage on a successful save and only half damage if you fail. So that is really good.
It's still pretty cool.
Yeah. Reliable talent. This allows you to choose... whenever you take an ability check that lets you add your proficiency bonus, you can treat... Oh, yeah, reliable talent.
Yep.
This is the one that gets rid of all nat 1s outside
Pretty
of combat. Much. Yeah. Oh, God. Starting at level 11, you have refined your chosen skills until they approach perfection. Whenever you make an ability check that lets you add your proficiency bonus, you treat all d20 rolls of 9 or lower as 10. Remember when we were talking about expertise, folks? About how a DC, if you wanted to sleight of hand someone or do an acrobatics check to do some parkour shit, if I say, okay, the DC is 20, okay? Yeah. He will eventually have, in those two skills, a plus 12. If he's level 11, he cannot roll less than 10. Which means that is automatically 10 plus 12.
Pretty sweet.
So yes, folks. Again, this is where outside of combat, rogues are pretty damn unbeatable. We're just gonna move on, folks, because that is just wow. Blind sense. Starting at level 14, you are able to hear. Oh, sorry. If you are able to hear, I was like, what? You can hear. If you are able to hear, if you are able to hear, you are aware of the location of any hidden or invisible creature within 10 feet of you. Pretty okay. It's not as good as a dragon's blind sense, but still pretty good.
It has its uses.
Yeah, at level 15 you have Slippery Mind. You now gain proficiency in Wisdom saving throws. At level 18, which I believe is your last ability... No, you get Stroke of Luck after this. At level 18, you get Elusive. You are now so elusive that attackers rarely gain the upper hand against you. No attack roll has advantage against you while you aren't incapacitated. So, flanking rolls? Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, this invisible guy somehow managed to attack you from a distance. Nope. No matter what the enemy does, they cannot get advantage on you.
Nice.
Now, okay, level 20, Stroke of Luck, folks, and then we're moving on to the archetypes. Actually, before we move on to archetypes, I will have some questions for Mark, but let's get into Stroke of Luck. At 20th level, you have an uncanny knack for succeeding when you need to. If your attack misses, if your attack misses a target within range, you can turn the miss into a hit. Alternatively, if you fail an ability check, you can treat a d20 roll as a 20. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a fucking short rest. Seriously.
Yep.
Or
10
a long
minutes
rest.
and I can be off my game.
No, well, for me, short rests are 30 minutes at an hour.
Okay.
But still! Wow. So, I missed. I know. I automatically hit you. What? Oh, I have an ability check. Nope. I'm treating that as a 20. Oh my god, that means even DC, if it's an acrobatics or sleight of hand, anything that uses your expertise, you can beat DC 30s.
Yep.
Because, like, I'm like, okay, let's say you're in the fortress of Elaine, right? And you decide to steal some armor from her. First, I don't know what Elle's reason might be. Maybe he just wants to steal some armor, like, from the gods. And the lock was, again, we're talking about a godly lock, which means DC 30. You'd be like, you roll. You failed. Nope, that's a 20. It says 1, but it's a 20. add your goddamn plus fucking 12.
Yeah.
32. You beat the goddamn. And again, that we're talking even without adding your actual ability score. So that's without adding your plus 5 from dexterity.
Good stuff.
So even DC 35, you won't stop you.
Yeah. Like that's enough to trip some gods up.
Yeah. And you know what the worst part is? I actually skipped over some parts with expertise. I'm going to read expertise in full, folks. Here's how powerful rogues are. Now again, as Mark has said, if you play a rogue, you can do all this epic shit outside of combat and some epic shit in combat, but if you take a hit, it's not going to be pretty.
Done.
Yeah. Okay. Expertise. At first level, choose 2 of your skill proficiencies or 1 of your skill proficiencies and your proficiency with Thieves' Tools. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make that uses either of the chosen proficiencies. At level 6, you can choose to add 2 more of your skills to gain this benefit. So eventually, when L levels up one more time, I believe we're level 5 at the moment. When he levels up one more time, he'll be able to turn 2 other skills he's proficient in to expert.
Nice.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Now, without looking at any other archetypes, forget all archetypes that you know of, Mark. How do you feel about rogues?
Rogues are pretty fun overall.
Would
you got to play them smart though.
Yeah. Would you say the vanilla rogue? Now again, without any archetype boosts.
Yeah.
Would you say the vanilla rogue? But like just looking at the vanilla rogue, that rogue could potentially. What was your favorite class before rogue? Because as you said, you never played a rogue before. What was your favorite class?
Favorite class is usually cleric, actually.
Cleric.
I'm actually a big fan of supporting people.
Okay. Would you say, with these vanilla rogue stuff, right now, that a rogue is in contention for your new favorite spot?
It's like I said, there's a couple other classes I still haven't played yet, so I don't want to kind of nail it down like Mark equals rogue,
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty up there. It like. The idea that it has like a couple of like limitations but loads of pros to it mean you can like really get outside the box and think about them in lots of different ways.
Don't get me wrong, like I love rogues as well. Like for example, my gunslinger Nakul, Shadow Blue Dragonborn. He has some levels in rogue, assassin particularly, and my DM is semi regretting his decision due to the fact that I'm shooting targets from over 1,000 feet away and benefiting from my sneak attack and assassinate feature. He's regret, but
yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I also really like playing like monks as well, because they tend to tie really well in with the whole DPS as well.
Yeah,
but rogues usually kind of go with.
Yeah, I'll have okay. In terms of combat, I will stand by my decision. That sorry, my opinion, not decision. Opinion that rogues can't really fulfill the support role. They're in combat. They're strictly DPS, but outside of combat, I have to give them props. They can completely be support. Hell, it's the reason why they're part of the holy trio. You know, paladin, wizard, cleric. You know, the holy the holy trinity of D&D. You know, there's always a paladin, there's always a cleric, and there's always a rogue. Oh, sorry, there's always a tank, which is fulfilled by. Oh, sorry, the holy four. Sorry. Because again, like you need a cleric for healing. You need the paladin is always the stereotype for tanking. The rogue is always needed because he's the one that's going to get everyone through the traps. And then you have the wizard who just provides the arcane support, and who's also a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
But okay, folks. Any other comments on Vanilla Rogues, Mark, before we get on into the archetypes?
No, I think we've covered everything pretty well.
All right, folks. We'll be back with part 2 of D&D discussion, 5th edition, Rogues.